Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you in the video. All right, so the Lakers lose 133-130 at Crypto.com Arena to the OKC Thunder, who came in and really shot the ball extremely well, man. Took advantage of some Laker turnovers that were just plentiful. 21 turnovers causing 27 points um, given to the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder, I believe, had 31 assists as a team. So you can clearly see where the guards and forwards that they have, who are basically known for passing the rock, really helped one another. Uh, both Giddy and who was it? They both had the exact same shooting numbers. I think it was Giddy and Jalen Williams. Obviously, there are two of them. They both went off. Not surprising. One of them had 6 steals. So you just saw a really full game from Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, 30 points. They just continued to just take advantage of the Laker turnovers and shot the ball just unbelievably well, hitting 17 three-point shots as a team. Um, just really stellar basketball for the Thunder. You know, when you turn the ball over that much, you just really don't have a chance. 21 turnovers, you don't have a chance. You know, congratulations to LeBron James on getting the scoring record, the NBA scoring record, the pinnacle. You know, I felt so many different things while watching this game, but you know, for all of it, I just felt like at the end of the day, LeBron James is deserving. You know, they stopped the game as soon as he did it around the end of the third quarter, somewhere close to the end of the third quarter, when he finally hit a fadeaway shot to get that 38,388 mark, I believe it is. Don't quote me on that. It might have been 888, but nevertheless, he finally got over the hump in regards to passing Kareem. And I know that it's been a hump on his shoulders, so to speak. It's been a burden, I think, to a degree. But we're past it. And that's what I saw was just relief. The weight off of his shoulders, finally accomplishing it. And then after that, it just became a situation where, the ceremony took over, and that broke the pace of the game and the momentum of the game. And I don't think the Lakers ever really had it going, but after that, it was almost like nobody even cared to play anymore, except for Russell Westbrook. And even though we were cutting it close, we had a chance. We were only down by 4 with like maybe 17 seconds, something like that. And then we didn't even sub LeBron in. So to me, it was like, if you guys have been listening to my videos over the last 5, 6 days, I've been really mad about how I think the NBA is going in regards to focusing on everything but winning. We pointed out in every way, shape, and form where winning isn't the priority all over the league. And tonight was just the accumulation of that for me, where it just was evident to me that the spirit of competitiveness was in everything but the spirit of basketball. It was in everything but the science of basketball tonight. Competitive is in, let's fill up them seats, get as much money as we can get in that one day span where we can just cash all the way out on what LeBron James is ultimately supposed to bring to our team, which is revenue. That we can have this culture spectacle that ultimately is about, where we have all of our celebrities in the house and we just showcase the Laker girls and just give them that culture and just make everything expensive as hell and just enjoy that and pocket the change. And this is what it is. That's a win. You see what I'm saying? I like the ceremony that we had. You know what I mean? It was worthy. I think if anybody were to do something like that, you gotta pull out the red carpet. So for that, I calmed down. I didn't want to let the overwhelming moment that I feel and what it is I'm reacting to in this little week span zero in too far to where I can't acknowledge that this is the leading scorer in the history of the sport. And we've been waiting for somebody to break this record all our lives. So for him to be able to do that and to be able to witness that, I don't want to mess up that. You know what I mean? As far as my experience and seeing him do that in my uniform, like, it's something you definitely can take for granted, for sure, right? And so I found myself wanting to embrace that moment, and I really appreciated it, especially for LeBron James, for him. But it was just everything that was going on around it made it suck, honestly. Made it suck. It's the way the Lakers handled it as an organization, the whole get down. I hated it. I like the energy in the crowd. I think the crowd gave us the best energy we had had in years. I don't think the building had been that electric in a long time, and I think that's a testament to his true fans that actually spent that real money and probably flew all over from all over the world to be in that building at that night to celebrate him. So for that, it just shows how powerful his star power is, and the NBA as a whole star power when you consider the Pinnacle breaking the record, and this was the energy in the building. I don't think the energy had been that good in that building in honestly probably over 20 years. Like the Kobe to Shaq moment. You know, when Shaq got the ball from Kobe in Game 7 of the 2000 Western Conference Finals. That moment was one of the most electrifying moments I had ever heard in terms of the loudness of the crowd. This night echoed that to me. It was one of those. It was absolutely electric. But it wasn't Laker fans. It was Bron fans. And that's why you could tell it was a difference. 100% a difference. And you could see every time he touched the ball, they were rooting for him to score. And I just felt like we fell into every trap imaginable as it pertains to getting caught up in the moment, focusing on other things, and then allowing the other team to slip in and get the victory. It's the same thing that happens on ring night for a lot of teams, where you get caught up celebrating and you forget there's a basketball game. And in a game like this, where the team you're going up against is loose, young, more talented than you from person to person to person, you're not going to do well. You're not going to do well. You're going to have a situation where they're going to come out with the bulletin board material of ruining your night, and they got the talent to do it. But that's not the only story, because it's like you, of course, have the talent to beat them, but you're not going to scheme properly, because that's just what the Lakers do. So we had rotations down there that reflect Darvin Ham. So when you got Ham rotations popping off, you got half the team not sure if they're even going to be on the team tomorrow, because the trade deadline's literally like 48 hours away. So you got that going on, where guys are trying to get their own. They're not really interested in doing much. But in the first half of the game, everybody was caught up in trying to force the ball to Bron, and as a result, it cost a lot of turnovers. Guys were passing up, doing things that made sense to get him the ball, and as a result, you, of course, as we always talk about, scheme backwards. You know, when you don't do things for the right reasons on the basketball floor, you do play into the defense's hands. And that's what we did tonight. We didn't guard the perimeter because we were too busy thinking about other stuff. We didn't take care of the basketball because we were too busy thinking about other stuff. And, you know, we did our celebration, and everybody in the building was happy, and the Lakers walked away a loser, and everybody seemed to be okay with it, except for Max Christie. Max Christie's body language is mine. That's how I was watching. The way he was standing at the end of the game with 15 seconds left and nobody was being competitive, but Russell Westbrook, and everybody seemed to be happy, Bron smiling, everybody slapping hands, and I realized no one really, really cares to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. If I want to root for success, I should be a Thunder fan tonight, because the Lakers aren't interested in that. As a whole, the whole building, everybody, except for my rookie team. And I'm just sitting here and I realize Kobe would have hated all of this, man. I mean, he would have celebrated Bron, but you got to get the victory afterward. It's personal accolades. They just don't hold the same weight when they're attached to a loss. If you're hell-bent on being a winner, I'm not saying you obsess over it like a madman. You do acknowledge what LeBron James has accomplished and see it as a victory in and of itself, but it ain't the victory that we're down here as a team to do. And I think the team loss, I don't think the team was much of a team tonight because of the circumstances it plays, based on the fact that most of these dudes could be traded. Ross and Reeves coming back from injury, you put them on players that are going to be on the All-Star team. Yeah, you stick him on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander the first quarter. He returns from a month-long injury. And stuff like that is just like, man, you want me to think you actually want to win when you do that? You know, I watched us put Patrick Beverly. No, it was Dennis Schroeder tonight. Dennis Schroeder on Josh Giddey. You proceed to watch Josh Giddey punish him like he's supposed to. Josh Giddey's like 6'9", 6'10". Dennis Schroeder's like 6'2", 6'3". I mean, like, the difference in size was so glaring. It was almost as bad as B.I. and and Patrick Beverly in the last game. And I'm just watching us do things like that, and I'm looking at the rotations down there. I don't see William Gabriel. I don't see a whole lot of Thomas Bryant, and I'm just sitting here. I'm like, don't y'all see how the correlation between these two things go together? I look at Anthony Davis. He only had 13 points tonight. And it's like, do we even remember what we're trying to do? We're supposed to be feeding him the ball in the second half because we have trouble doing that. I don't even think that was a priority tonight. And I just realized everybody's celebrating. I thought confetti was gonna be raining from the rafters at one point, right before the ceremony. People were so damn happy. I'm like, they're bringing Larry O out? Where's Larry? We get a banner for this? Nope, we're celebrating one guy. He deserves it, and I'm happy for him, even though I don't think he's actually enjoying this night very much because you put so much damn pressure on him to hit a record that he's probably put enough pressure on himself to break. But now on this night, when he finally gets to break it, it's like, okay, and everybody paid triple, so you better get it tonight, or they all gonna be pissed. Not if you lose. They're gonna be fine if you lose. But if you don't score 36 points, they didn't get their $100,000 worth. It's like, this is all ridiculous. This is anti-Mamba mentality all up and down the board. This is everything the Mamba was not, y'all. This is everything he's not. Every great competitor I've ever paid attention to did things the opposite way my Los Angeles Lakers are doing it right now. And all the people who celebrate this nonsense would have lost to the people I celebrate. You would have lost to the people that I think are champs. The ones that really, really do it, y'all have lost to them. Like I said, if I wanted to root for a winner tonight, I had to be a Thunder fan because my team wasn't interested in that. And I'm supposed to be celebrating LeBron James' scoring record, and all I can say is I'm a Laker fan, y'all. I'm not a player fan. I've been rooting for a team my entire life, meaning that I understood the importance of unselfishness and putting down those personal accolades. The more you dismiss them, the more respect you got because it's understood that you were considering your teammates who didn't do all that. But you couldn't do all that unless they did all that. So the least you can do is put that down so they can win tonight. And then they'll run through the wall for you for the next 10 nights. And then you gain trust with them and they are going to believe in themselves when it matters most because they know that you've put in the belief in them and they've given back that effort tenfold. I know what it takes to build a champion because I've seen 5 of them put together right before my very eyes, and I know what one is not. And this is not that. But I don't think it matters because the people who are in position to appreciate it seem to be fine with it. It seems to be like, it's like Clipper stuff, you know? We put up the selfies, right? This is all Clipper stuff as far as I can tell. You know, we were happy because we beat certain teams. Never mind the championship. The Clippers are happy when they beat the Lakers, right? That's what matters. Not championships. No, we can't get the championship, so we got to aim lower and be pleased with that. Have fun, right? That's what I'm saying, man. People losers, bro. I'm telling you, they're food. They're food. I know food when I see it. These people are a bunch of basketball foods, meals, man. They're not worried about losing. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Josh Giddey, the both of the Jalen Williams, Mike Muscala, who shot the ball crazy great, Isaiah Joe, who also shot the ball amazing tonight, Kendrick Williams. I saw a bunch of guys who played hard tonight, played smart tonight, played together tonight, walked out of there with a victory tonight, and it wasn't the home team who everybody was happy about. It wasn't the home team who's everybody celebrating their best guy about because he got the scoring record. It was the team in white who just walked off the court unassumingly with another victory to their belt. And we're in 13th place, headed even further down. But everybody's roaring. The crowd is extremely ecstatic because this sub 500 basketball club, great player, broke the all-time scoring record. It's great, man. It's an amazing accomplishment. Too bad the team couldn't celebrate it with him because we lost together. This era is food. The entire league is food. For Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and all the great players who ever competed before this sappy nonsense ever began, this is their meal. I kid you not. The Celtics of the 80s, Bird, this is bird food. Tim Duncan and the Spurs, Spur food. I'm telling you, man, the lack of competitiveness within the sport of basketball, it's disrespectful. It's just disrespectful, man. Especially to do it here. To do it here, in the land of purple and gold, where we've had Magic, Kareem, all these great players, Powell, Kolb, all these guys, Worthy. And you're trying to tell me we've been reduced to aiming low and being absolutely ecstatic about it? Granted, him getting the scoring title is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how we're acting around that. What we put on the floor on the night when that's supposed to happen. You got every star in the building, and they all saw what was wrong with you because you did the same stuff that doesn't work on the nights when they're not watching on the night that they are. You're supposed to clean up your house when you got guests. We left everything hanging out, everything hanging around like we home alone by ourselves. That's how the Lakers behave tonight. That's exactly how they behave tonight. I mean, it was a star-studded event. Everybody who was somebody was in the house because the Grammys, it was like a Grammy night basically. And we ran 3-guard lineups, put people in mismatch situations, didn't guard the perimeter, didn't guard the interior at all, left AD down there to be the only big a good portion of the time. And I'm just sitting here like, as if we haven't seen this stuff not work 50 times in a row. 50 times in a row we've seen where these schemes these little patterns of how we rotate our players, this does not lead us to any success. We talk about it ad nauseum. Everybody talks about it ad nauseum, and we just keep on seeing it go down this way. And in games like tonight, where I'm supposed to be celebrating God knows what else other than LeBron James, because I know that's the only thing that matters tonight, I have to be burdened with that old ancient mentality that I just can't let go of as an old man, where I think I'm supposed to get victories at the end of these damn games. I know, huh? Old. I need to grow out of that. It's about chasing the numbers. It's about getting this money. And it's about getting these scores up high as possible, man. I'm telling you, that's all it's about. The more threes you shoot, the more scoring you do, I guess the better it is for everybody, apparently, except for those of us who think like me. And if we happen to get the score up to 155 to 156, the team who got 155 needs to just be pleased with that, because winning does not matter. It just doesn't matter. I mean, why would they even bring the trophy out at the end of the season? Like, why even bother if all of this is leading up to the season's end? If all of this is what leads up to that, then I know that ain't anything. Because this was garbage. And I'm not talking about tonight. I'm just talking about the whole season. The whole way that they've officiated the season, the whole way that they've souped up the numbers in the way that they have. It's just like, why even bother being competitive? Why even call it a competition? Tonight was the most non-competitive thing I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Honestly. I mean, the scheme was more about him getting to 36. The game ended there. Bron has 36. Salute. That was it. He's smiling. I'm like, bro, you're down by 5. And I'm just like, but this is how he was raised, man. He was raised to care about his own personal stuff, just like the rest of these guys from this era. We're friends with our competition. We want to be buddies with the best players in the league instead of destroying them. We don't even care about doing what it is that Kareem and Mike and them was on. Them guys was weirdos, man. They had bad energy. We want to play games, and whoever wins, it doesn't matter as long as we can get along afterwards. That's what matters. That's the era he's from. And I'm telling you, man, it ain't serving well. Because the very next generation, you got Ja Morant and them dudes. Like, how the hell? And you give a guy like Ja Morant 20 years, the competitiveness, it's gonna have him reaching levels. You know what I mean? These guys that are coming after these buddy guys, they're gonna reach levels. They may not be able to do what LeBron has done because of the efficiency, because of the be able to, there are a lot of things that LeBron James was gifted by the Most High that nobody's gonna duplicate. But as far as the competitiveness, his finals record, come on, man. It's gonna be met. It's gonna be met with some excellence at some point. And I know where he went wrong. This stuff right here, man. When you obsess over winning, you can do all of this, 38,000, all of that, and make sure that because you've scored more points than everybody else, that you won more than everybody else. If you scored more points in the game as basketball, why the hell don't you have more rings than everybody else? It's because there were certain things that didn't get mastered. That's why. Is he the greatest player of all time? No. Because greatness means that you've mastered something. You've mastered it. He had a gift for the game. He ain't mastered it yet. There's a difference. You can be born with the ability to be a genius at something, but you still gotta be able to master the various art forms within it. I'm great, but there's a whole nother part of the science that I never even explored. I'd be great at that too if I were to venture into it. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I always challenge Bron. I hope somebody gives him some of my videos so he follow what it is I'm saying, because this is the stuff that these guys ain't gonna never tell you. They were never paid to tell you this. In fact, they were paid not to. The only thing that was going to get you the respect that you actually want is to win all them damn games, including this one tonight. Did you look at all them fans as they were leaving the game? They were happy because they were there to see what you did, but they were also looking at the fact the team just ultimately did not win. They were all sitting there like, damn, the Lakers really lost, huh? And we got our money's worth because he got to 36, but man, they really let the Thunder just walk in here and just beat them in front of all of us. It's like, Josh Giddey needs to be given all the credit in the world. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's a true all-star. They got a super team, by the way. We just don't know it yet because they're a bunch of kids. But that was a super team we just saw tonight. At least 5 of them dudes going to be all-stars for us over with. Maybe 6 or 7 of them, actually. If I'm being real. I look at Isaiah Joe. I look at, what's the other guy? All the Williams kids, all 3 of them, even though Kendrick, I don't know that it's all-star upside. But the other 2, they showed me something tonight. Again, SGA and Giddey are just crazy great. But you think about Ousmane Dieng, he's a real player. Trey Mann, I don't remember even seeing him too much tonight, but that dude's for real. It's just a plethora of young, high upside players. And you won't know that because they just haven't begun their situation. They haven't started becoming who they're going to be. But on a night like tonight, you see it. You look at the Jalen Williams, look at their numbers tonight. You see exactly what they're going to be. And so when I say that you can't take a game off against OKC this season, or any season going forward, I mean just that. This is the very last day, and I mean the very last day the Lakers can see the Oklahoma City Thunder and not see them as a very serious team. May this be the last day. Because those kids ain't getting no worse from here, and they're all together on rookie contracts. This is who they're going to be, and they're only getting better. Because they got a whole 7'4" guy coming in, Chet Holmgren, next season, who could dribble the ball and shoot threes and block shots like crazy. So that is a real team. And let tonight be a lesson. If you take them lightly and you don't guard the perimeter, they're going to shoot you down. It's a Kobe minute, by the way. Salute. I wish he were here to see tonight. for a plethora of reasons. Not only to salute his brother Bron and Cap, but to also just see how watered down the competition has become in 2023, man. How non-competitive Lakers have become when they are in striking distance of games. You know, Darvin, we've won games like this tonight, where we were down by 4 with like 17 seconds to go. We've won games like that. And I know Bron didn't, he had subbed out of the game because he was dealing with the foot. But at some point in time, I need my coach to look at my star player and say something to him in that situation that allows him to understand that it's his time to step up and believe in the possibility of winning a miracle basketball game. Because that's how you get to where he actually wants to be. You can't concede these type of games. You got to keep fighting in games like this and find a way to capture them. That's what the great ones do when they're great winners. You never gave up on a 4-point deficit with 17 seconds to go, especially when you got timeouts. That's like 3 or 4 different possessions if you know what you're doing, especially if you can foul properly. And I've seen guys miss clutch free throws in pressure situations like this, especially young teams like that. There are ways to win the game that we gave up, that everybody paid $100,000 to beat. See, yeah, we could have won that game. It was a long shot, but if you're managing your clock properly, it could have been done. These are the type of things I'm talking about. But this team be conceding victories like they don't know how to strategize wins. Why? Because it ain't like. They don't. They don't know how. They don't know that game was winnable. They don't know that they did about 9 or 10 things wrong down the stretch of this particular basketball game that ultimately sealed the victory for the other team. They don't even know it. I'm sure they don't know it. Because they do stuff like that just about every time we have a game like this. The instincts don't lean into being competitive. They don't. They don't lean into things that ultimately make it so that you are the victor, Laker fans. These people's instincts lean into other stuff. And I don't know what everybody else is on. I know it's a politic game when it comes to this league. Everybody's screaming, congratulations, LeBron James, for being the all-time scoring leader. And that was such an amazing night. And we were so very proud of our Lakers. And even though they didn't win the game, it was because the Oklahoma City Thunder shot the ball so very well. And it was really an emotional night. And that is why we lost. None of that's why we lost. None of that is why we lost. We lost because of the same reason we always lose. It's because we didn't scheme properly against a team that was facing us for reasons that had nothing to do with scheming properly so that we could win. That's why. Wasn't none of that going on. None of that. We were giving up opportunities to feed Anthony Davis because we were feeding LeBron James. We were giving up opportunities to put ourselves in position to play defense because we were focused on LeBron James scoring the ball. All kinds of stuff that had nothing to do with the Lakers getting themselves out of this situation, which is 13th place, with the Western Conference obviously getting better with Kyrie now joining the fold. I'm going to say something, and it doesn't necessarily mean that I believe it, but I'm just sitting here and I'm going to say this. I think the season ended tonight. I do. I think the season officially ended tonight. Not necessarily because of the loss or anything like that, but just because it's how things are forming situationally right now. The Lakers just lost this game. He just got the scoring record. The Lakers essentially showed me by not trading for Kyrie Irving that they don't necessarily want to take back any contracts that are not expiring this off season, which means that whatever trades we're probably going to make is not going to have us letting go of expiring contracts. We're actually going to probably keep all of our expiring contracts for the sake of them creating cap space or being re-signed. So I think guys like Thomas Bryant, Lonnie Walker, it's a good chance they don't get moved. And there's a good chance we try to negotiate and re-sign all of them. Which doesn't piss me off at all. But what it will do is piss off LeBron James because he's looking forward to them making a trade. And him walking in there wearing all black with that pin that said something along the lines of be present, which means right now, which means forego them damn picks. That's exactly what that means. Be present. I live in the moment. He was telling us that as he was Doing the interview with ESPN, it's always a mantra of his to not think about anything that happens afterward, but more so to just stay present and work on the increments. And if he does that, he can get himself to that moment. And so I understood that. It kind of helped me understand why I would be willing to mortgage the picks when I look at it that way, because in order to get to 2027 and 2029, you got to be competent enough to be a decent enough team to get to that point. With LeBron James, you're likely going to be that. Without him, with this regime in place, with these non-competitive people in place, I don't know that we even touch that. So it's a lot to look at, man. But I tell you the truth, tonight just was one night where I just didn't like the fact that we had to deal with all this stuff that came with LeBron James. It wasn't his fault. I didn't think he was enjoying it either, especially in the first quarter. It did not look like he was having fun. He was trying to please other people to the expense of the strategy on the floor, and that goes against everything he's about, because he's the guy that likes to make the last play. Even when he's supposed to be shooting the damn ball, he wants to make the right play. So I know him not making the right play for the sake of getting points, and the fact that it was a deterrent to certain possessions, it was uncomfortable. I know it was. I could see it in his face. Trying to appeal to all these people and all that. It was just nonsense. And we still lost. It is like, you know what? I was looking at LeBron. He was talking to his sons, and I know they're going to be running around in this league. And I tell him, this is why you need to learn how to close, brother. This is why you need to start developing these closer, killer mentality habits. Because those boys are going to be coming in the league. And you're going to want them to know how to win games that you didn't win. It's different when it's your seeds, man. It's different when they're down there making the same mistakes you made when it's time to close, and you see their long faces because they done lost the game. You don't want them to lose that game. More so, you don't want to lose it yourself. And you got to show them that they can learn how to do things that they need to learn how to do, even if they've mastered all that they think they need to master. There's still things, even if they are the pinnacle, which you are, that they need to get better at in order to be the best, so that they'll never be satisfied. These are the things that I want fathers to understand. When you be okay with your weaknesses in the presence of your sons, and you root for the wrong things in the presence of your sons, you do know they're going to take that relay. They're going to run with that. You're going to lose because of it. This is a game I did not want LeBron James to lose for that reason. I did not want him to think, or want those kids, any kids in there, to think that it's okay to celebrate personal accolades and in satisfaction with a loss attached to that. Because I'm telling you, your opponent is going to be happy too. And that's a problem. That's where it becomes tricky. Because the guys that's gloating and dancing on you, they happy too. While you sitting there happy in a loss, they're happy too. That's a problem for me. As a competitor, that's where it becomes a deal breaker. So they get to dance off happy, gloating and pointing and laughing at me, calling me a loser while I'm sitting over here in this space. And whatever I'm rooting for is supposed to make that okay, huh? Nah, I ain't gonna make that okay. You can't buy that away from me. Nope. Gotta silence them. Gotta silence the haters. And that's what it's all about, man. We want to win. We want to put ourselves in a position to be at the very best. And so we know what it takes, man. And we know when it's not working. We know when people are doing the opposite. And that's what we're seeing here. Everybody can celebrate LeBron James. He deserves that. He's deserving. But it's too much going on within this culture that has robbed him of what he truly deserves in terms of respect, which is that competitive fire to close games every single night. To be absolutely greedy as it pertains to taking victories away from those happy opponents of his, who keep on dancing and gloating at the sight of him losing. To be okay with that. I don't understand. I'm not an open-minded enough person to be able to sit in that space and be okay. I need to be able to do something to remedy that. And so that's where I think, like, if I could really play, if I were a great basketball person or player, I'm pretty sure my competitiveness with that attached to it should be able to bring me to great heights, because I know what I see is a lack of focus that wouldn't match that competitive nature. It wouldn't match it. It would not match it. You know, and that's what it really comes down to, man. A guy like LeBron James with that competitive desire to win, he would have got all the scoring, all the assists he got, and he would have got the wins on top of it. Because the points were accumulated. The stops weren't. The stops were not. He got more points than everybody else. He got damn near more assists than everybody else. But where did LeBron James fall short overall? Since that is the case, but he don't have more rings than he has losses in the finals. Where was he not better? Other side, man. And closing. I tell you, man, you can do all these great things in the first 3 quarters and a half. But you get down to them last 6 minutes. And you start forgetting how best to do the things that work for you. And if you make that a habit, you will lose a lot. And for the 5 years that I've watched Bron, he's had that issue. Amongst the other stuff that we do that ultimately makes us a losing franchise around him. But that is really a thing, man. And so that's what I want to see the King do, man. Not take a night like tonight and say I'm at the top of the mountain. If you're still playing, there's still ways of getting better. There's still haters to silence. Respect to game, believe it or not. Because there's a good portion of people that have spent $100,000 to see you break a scoring record. And we'll celebrate that. But then there's going to be people like me who are going to look at them and see them as food. And we're going to hold you to a higher standard when you're sitting there making them happy. Because at the end of the game, when we've lost, we ain't happy. My name is BDO44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.